Ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, so here's the problem. You contact an executive search firm, legal recruiting firm, somebody who's like super specialized in doing very senior talent, and they're going to give you the following objections. Hey, we are so specialized and we are so specific. Nobody else could ever do this. I've got 20 years of experience. There's no possible way you could help me in any way. I don't want you calling my clients. I don't want you. This network is so small. If I had one bad phone call, it would ruin my entire business, right? We're too narrow. We're too unique. You have to have too much experience. I've been doing it for 25 years, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All right. So, one, don't fight with them. There's nothing you're going to say that is going to turn their mind around, right? Because you're going to be like, oh, if you said, oh, we could totally do that, then they're going to hit you with a whole bunch of really specific questions and you're going to look like an asshat, right? So do not fight with these people. Here's what we're going to do instead. We are going to first things first, we're going to try and build a parallel. Second, if that fails and doesn't get you to the next stage, then we're going to not even suggest we could help them in that capacity. We are going to target the world of virtual assistants. Okay, so what's the talk track for virtual assistant? First, numbers are always important. So a proposition could be, hey, John, let me ask what you think about this. Our clients have found that like 2 to 3 hours of every day, right, that they're working is like spent on things that have to get done, right, but that anybody could do, right? And so we're talking about 10, 15 hours a week. It's like 40, 50 hours a month. It's like 500 plus hours a year. And I guess here's the question, right? Our people have found, and I think most executives have found, right, that there's things that have to happen. And if you don't have someone to do that for you, you're going to do it, right? So what are we talking about? And then I guess here's the real question. If you could find someone to do that and they were competent, wouldn't you rather be spending that 500 hours a year on building your business? Okay. Any large business, any hyper effective startup, even small businesses, right, that can move from small boutique to start to really scale without sacrificing quality, without sacrificing, right, their integrity. You just need, right, the visionaries, the founders, to get more time, right? And you can get more time in a couple of ways, right? You could work twice as much and completely sacrifice your personal life, which many people do. Hey, look at Elon Musk. Or you can get support, right? And appropriate support. An executive assistant gives you back that 50 hours a month, right? An executive assistant acts like a critical force multiplier on your productivity, streamlines operations, frees up your time so that you can do strategic decision-making and do leadership, right? And beyond that, they can ensure that your professional and your personal obligations are properly met, right? You don't need to sacrifice those little things in your personal life just so you can get your edge in your business. Critical force multiplier on your productivity. That's real. And we know that, right? Steve Jobs would not have been a success without Joanna Hoffman. Ann Hyatt supported Bezos getting Amazon off the ground and then moved over and like, oh, maybe I'll just help these other guys, right? And she like worked for Eric Schmidt for a decade at Google, right? So these people matter and you don't always know their names, right? But their impact is immense. All right, so that's enough of the platitudes. Now we got to get specific. If you're going to convince people of things, you must be specific. All right, so what are we talking about? Hey, there's so many things, John, that have to happen, but don't require you, the CEO, right, or the owner to do. In the recruiting side, our executive assistants are doing so many things that have no impact on the quality of your delivery, right, but free up your time. Rescheduling or scheduling candidate interviews and meetings. Reformatting resumes, doing company or market research for meeting preparation that you're doing, salary negotiations, doing comparative analysis against other jobs and other positions across the country, right? Figuring out the average cost of moving or relocation costs, figuring out what other people are paying, right? So that you can get your candidates aligned. On the BD side, right, when you're talking to your clients, tracking their birthdays, tracking important events for them, right? Figuring out when the next conferences are, all those little things that are just time sucks, right? That have to happen. Managing your email marketing that's going out to candidates and or clients, right? And of course, the basics in recruiting. Hey, if you need someone to source new candidates, they don't have to call, they don't have to verify, but just getting you the list of people. And then you know this, right? Hey, you've got passive candidates. Someone's got to get their personal email. Someone's got to get their phone number. Should you be doing that? Should you be running the Zoom info or the Apollo? No! That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense from an efficiency side. And then the second part, right? Your personal stuff, right? If you've got kids or you've got your own things to do, everybody knows, right? Scheduling doctor's appointments, scheduling the kids being picked up, scheduling soccer practice, making sure the nanny shows up. All these things just take time. Right? Figuring out some options of what you could get your wife for her birthday, right? Or your husband for his birthday, figuring out trips, anniversaries, all these little things, right? That don't become impersonal just because you ask someone to give you some options. It actually becomes more personal that you're spending resources and time, that you're having someone help you, right? So you can do it in a great and fantastic way. So remember, it's totally fine to talk about the platitudes. This is a critical force multiplier. Is an awesome thing to say. But if you don't get specific, right? Rescheduling, scheduling, formatting resumes, doing research, getting phone numbers, getting email address. If you don't give the specifics, it's oftentimes hard for people to envision why they need this, right? But all of a sudden you're like, hey, I have clients who spend an hour and a half a day in Zoom info, mining phone numbers so they can call candidates that they're sourced. What is the point of that, right? And it's ridiculous to assume that just because someone's an expert for 15 years, they're going to do that better than someone who's an expert for 15 minutes. That's ridiculous. That's a waste of time. That's why people need assistance. That's why founders need to recognize that they need help. Thank you.